Hi, everyone. I'm Rena Nine, and thank you for joining us. President Donald Trump is facing international condemnation following those reported disparaging remarks that he made during an immigration meeting. The international community and civil rights groups have demanded an apology, but the president denies using the words in question, instead saying that he used tough language in describing immigrants from Africa and Haiti. Democratic Senator Dick Durbin attended the meeting and confirmed the president said the insult. But Republican Senators Tom Cotton and David Perdue said that they don't recall the remark. Both men are staunch allies of the president. And Republican Senator Lindsey Graham simply said that he spoke up in the meeting to say his piece after comments were made. Well, the controversy comes as Congress faces the task of figuring out what to do about a permanent solution for Dreamers. These are young immigrants who were brought to the U.S. illegally as children. Their protection from deportation is set to run out if Congress doesn't act. On Saturday, President Trump tweeted, I'm quoting here, the Democrats are all talk and no action. They're doing nothing to fix DACA. Great opportunity missed. Too bad. Well, for more, I want to bring in Gabe Debenedetti. He's a national political reporter from Politico. Gabe joins me now to talk about all of this. Gabe, this back and forth with the president and these remarks, you remember there was one time a point when President Obama actually used the N-word during a podcast, and he was labeled as race baiting by some. Is there a difference in this?
Yeah, there's a huge difference here. First off, President Obama knew what he was doing. It was an on-the-record podcast, and he was going out of his way to make a point. And, of course, he knew that people had accused him of race baiting in the past. But there's a big difference between that and President Trump saying this behind the scenes, something that he apparently didn't think was racist, but that obviously is being taken that way, when at the same time people are questioning whether we have a president who can be called racist. So for him to then say this and then deny it and then not deny it, it's very different than President Obama saying something on the record.
Is there a sense from the White House that they need to clean up this damage, or do they feel like they can just walk away?
Well, they definitely need to clean it up. What you saw initially was a lot of people in the White House saying, this is great, the base is going to love this, and, you know, people who voted for President Trump wanted to hear tough talk like this. But in the hours since then, we've seen people walk that back. And the reality is that's because people on Capitol Hill are less and less likely to want to work with the president when this is out there right now. And they need to fund the government. They need to get things done right now.
We've got two Democrats from the Congressional Black Caucus that now say they want to push forward efforts to censure the president. First off, what does that mean to censure the president? And do you really see this as having any teeth and even momentum?
Well, it's very hard to do, obviously, especially when you're in the minority in Congress, as Democrats are right now. But a censure is essentially a way for Congress to say formally, like, we disapprove of what you have done. It doesn't necessarily have any real bearing on what how the president can do his job. But it obviously is not something that happens very frequently. Will this actually happen? That remains to be seen. Obviously, we have not seen a lot of people on Capitol Hill step up and say, this is our next step here.
It's clear that these comments and this back and forth has paralyzed momentum on DACA. What are you hearing about that?
Well, that's exactly right. Paralysis is the state of play right now. Democrats are essentially feeling emboldened, if anything, saying, you know, we need to get a full fix for DACA. Otherwise, you know, we're not going to come to the table at all. And President Trump, that's why you saw him tweet this morning, essentially say, well, Democrats have totally thrown away all their leverage. Let's move on entirely. But the reality is then neither party is really talking to each other, and the deadline is looming.
You speak of deadline. Friday is a big deadline for getting a budget passed. Do you get a sense that Democrats will actually shut down the government over DACA?
Well, the Democratic argument would be, well, it's Republicans shutting down the government because Republicans have the White House and the Senate and the House. They should be the ones who are able to put this all together. But yes, you're seeing increased fortitude from a lot of Democratic leaders on this issue specifically, essentially saying we need to get a real fix for DACA or else we're not coming to the table at all. And if the government gets shut down, good luck not getting blamed for it.
Speaking of good luck not getting blamed for it, we've seen these short-term fixes on the spending budget. It's been kicked down the road, down the road, down the road. How long can they continue doing that? And what's your read on where the spending bill is going?
Well, they can keep doing it for as long as they want to, but the reality is that we're then going to be talking more and more about another kind of paralysis here, which is Washington can't get anything done if they're just doing spending bills every 2 weeks. So it's already hard enough to get big legislation done in Washington. Now what they're trying to do is avoid another kick the can down the road moment. They're trying to do a 1 or 2 year spending bill. Doesn't look like it's going to happen in the next few days, but it is still possible.
Gabe Debenedetti, thank you, Gabe.